Hello, and thank you for joining me today. Today, we're actually going to go over the store parameters in SunLync. To change these parameters, you'll need access to the back office of SunLync and along with full permission in the store parameters. To access your store parameters, click on the Parameters menu and select Store Parameters. The first page is your salon demographics. What is your salon name? Next, your customer ID. This customer ID can be obtained by calling SunLync support. Location. What is the location of the salon? Maybe you have multiple salons, so you want to know this one is the Buffalo location. Then you can actually go ahead and put in the actual address. Manager, I'm going to put myself. Phone number of the salon. No extension. Okay, the region, that should stay at US. The IP address, that is the IP address of the timer server. Save. Okay. Now, let's click on the first Defaults tab. Click Edit at the bottom to make the change. The first area where you go over is Resets and Reversals. Allow timer reset for 20% of time or less expired. Allow timer reversals for 80% of time or more remaining. That simply means that if a customer is tanning if they're tanning in the tanning bed for 10 minutes, they want to get reversed when they've tanned for 3 minutes, the system will not allow you to do that because they've exceeded the 80% of the time remaining, or the 20% of time less expired. The options available when crediting a customer tan, you can credit the money spent on the tan to the account ledger. So therefore, if a customer paid a tan and you do the reversal, you can put the money on their account ledger as an store credit. You can credit to the points ledger when they paid with points. You go to the void screen to void out the entire transaction. Okay. Or you can give the employee to void the tan only. In order to void the tan only, the client must have paid with only one payment type. Gift certificates. Allow gift certificates to retain a balance. That simply means that you never have to give change because there will always be a value on the card. Next, you have the maximum change given on the gift certificate redemption. So if there isn't any balance being retained on the card, you can actually put in a maximum change given. Now remember, do you really want a customer to redeem a gift card for $100 when they're only buying one bottle of lotion that's marked off 50%? And then of course the expiration date. You can select gift cards don't expire, or gift cards expire, or gift certificates expire so many days after the purchase date. On the right side, your business day, 8 a.m. till 10 o'clock p.m. I'm going to go ahead and recommend that this setting gets changed or adjusted to an hour before you open and an hour after. Simply because if anything happens prior, during that time, you want to see that on your reports. Now on your reports, when you go and run them, you can actually change the date and you can change the time of running the reports. So these are just the default settings. The default reporting day is going to be the previous day or current. It's currently selected as today. So if I run the report, it's going to show me today's information. For larger salons, you have these options down here. Disable reports if the host is the same as the main database, and disable offline utility downloads if the host is the same as the main database. Simply because salons that are large in size are utilizing one server. Therefore, if you want to pull a report with the last 12 months of data, and you have 12 salons running on that same server, the salons might experience there's some downtime as the server is trying to get the request of everyone. This allows you to disable the reports and the offline utility download from running if that happens. Now, if these are disabled, that simply means that you're going to want to set up a replication server, so that way your reports will be on a different server and your offline utility will be on a different server. And if you ever opened up the Setup My SQL connection, you will see that there are 3 tabs that you have to set up. One for SunLync, one for the reports, and one for the offline utility. The option below. The customer options. Default may earn points for a new customer and capitalize data on customer insert. Well, I want my customers to earn points because I'm using points, and I want to capitalize the first initial of the first name and first letter of the last name when I enter in the customer to make it all nice and neat. Cash drawer. Default starting amount. I'm going to set this at 100. I'm going to prompt this when I open my drawer. I am going to use the recommended distribution, and I only have one computer, so I'm going to check this option. Remember, if you have more than one computer and you have more than one cash drawer, you do not want to check this option. However, look at it carefully. Use one drawer for count drop process. SunLync assumes that every computer that you have the SunLync point of sale on has a cash drawer connected. If you have 2 computers and you're only using one cash drawer, simply check the box that says use one drawer for count drop process. Now, if you're just checking this option, please make sure all prior drawers are closed and counted for, so that way you're not going to be missing any critical information. Or the option to the right of that, automatically drop drawer open or drawers at 12 a.m. You can change that to a different time if you wish, but that is so that you never open up the salon with an open drawer. When you drop the drawer, however, you still have to put in the figures later. You just can't do it during that time. Timers. What timer's in your salon? Mine is a T-Max, and I have a timer delay of 5 minutes. I'm going to click save I'm going to save all my settings. I'm going to update my current store because I only want to update my Buffalo store. If you have multiple stores and you don't want to change it, if you don't want the change to take effect for all stores, you want to use the first option. If you want to update all stores, you can choose update all stores. Update stores on update list is the update list that you can create. So if you have a group of salons that you want to upgrade at one time or update at one time, you can do it that way. Okay, page 2. Allow refunds. Allow refunds is checked. I allow refunds on TANs, products, packages, memberships, upgrades. I'm also going to do my EFT monthly rejection fees and monthly dues, just in case something happens and the customer claims they got double charged. I want to make sure they can get the funds back. The refund distribution types. What can you give back? Store credit, cash, credit card, and points. Allow refunds for items purchased. No limit for that. Allow discount options. So I'm going to allow product discounts. I'm going to allow service discounts. I'm also going to allow active customer discounts and point of sale discounts. My maximum percentage is going to be 100%. My maximum dollar percentage is going to be $500. Remember, each employee has their own limitations on what they can give as a discount on their employee record. Allow commissions, and I have that checked, so I give commissions on my product sales. I also give commissions on services. Now, if you want to give commissions on gift certificates, you want to check the box, so you can put in here a percentage or a flat rate. Also, No commission on employee-to-employee sales except when selling to terminated employees. Employee password. For PCI compliance reasons and for other security reasons, it is recommended that you change your password every so often. I'm going to change it every 90 days. I'm actually going to skip over the custom report field, as there are no custom reports in this system yet. Failed login attempts. Set employee status to on hold after 6 consecutive login failures. You can think of that like your computer. You log into your computer so many times without the correct user information, your account is on hold pretty much. You're blocked. You have to contact your network administrator or your computer administrator to allow you to access your computer. Same type of thing. If you try to log into your account and you just change your password and you forgot, it'll actually lock you out of the system after 6 attempts. You would have to call SunLync support to get that reversed and make your account active again, or you can simply have someone with equal or higher level access reset your active or your status, your employee status in the system. Offline promotions. Simply just put in the maximum amount, $100 and 100%. Save. Current store only. Alright, page 3. Edit. Allow points to be used to purchase TANs. Okay, products. I'm going to say no. Packages. I'm going to say no. Memberships. I'm going to say no. Gift certificates. No. Account ledger. No. Upgrades. Yes. Because I want customers to be able to use their points for TANs and upgrades, but only for TANs and upgrades. I'm going to allow store credit. And I'm going to allow a maximum credit to be given of $50. Tax. Your tax rate. What is it? Is it 7%? Is it 8.5%? I'm going to put it in here as 8.5%. Service rate. The service rate is not the TAN tax. The service rate would be your state tax for services. If your state currently charges tax for services, please put in that amount. If you're looking for the TAN tax, please put in 10% at the very bottom, listed under TAN tax. Payroll. I'm not going to round the time card to 15 minutes, so I'm going to uncheck that. My pay period, is it going to be weekly? Is it going to be every 2 weeks? Or is it going to be bi-monthly? Bi-monthly, you get to pick the ending days, so I'm going to pick the 15th, and I'm going to pick the last day of the month. Customer referrals. SunLync has a customer referral program. A customer referral could be issuing a credit, so I'm going to put in here $10 credit. I'm also going to allow my employees to be given this credit as well. Your options for this is issue credit on the account ledger or issue points on the account ledger. Well, now if you're issuing points, remember points can only be used for TANs and upgrades. So, if you want the customer to be able to use or store credit to purchase products and TANs, you want to choose the top option. If you want them just to be able to TAN, you want to choose the option of issue points. Default employee assignments for customer service. Who is your, I'm going to select myself. Then of course, listed below, you can put in your other employees that are listed under that category or in that department. Save. Current store only. Okay, page 4. Moving right along. Click edit. Your receipt options. When a receipt is printed, never print a receipt, prompt to print a receipt, or always print a receipt. And nowadays, 50% of customers do not want their receipts. So I'm going to leave mine at prompt for a receipt. That way I can say yes or no. The options below. Do not print a receipt when only a $0 TAN. For tanning on a package or tanning on a membership, you don't want a receipt because there's no money exchanged. Default print of the receipt screen to no, so that means when it prompts you to print a receipt, the default option is going to be no. print points balance on receipt. So that way, if you're using points, the customer can see how many points they have earned on their account. Never print a receipt in history mode. History mode allows you to go back in time into SunLync and make corrections, whether it be voids, processing new transactions for the correct time. Therefore, you'll never print a receipt as it was done in history mode. It wasn't done today or at the correct time. You can print EFT membership status on receipt. You can print the customer number on receipt, or you can put in a little message on here saying thank you, and then %N, so that way their actual customer name will be presented on the receipt. Poll display options. You can put in a welcome message and a thank you message for the poll display. Account ledger options. You allow customers to have a debit balance at point of sale. That means that you allow customers to have a debit. You allow customers to charge things on their account even if they have no money to pay for it. You're intending them to pay it later on. The maximum balance you have here. I'm going to list this as $25, as I do not want customers going crazy by printing a lot of money on their account and not ever ending up paying me. There's a couple of options you can select that would prevent that from happening. One of them, do not allow customers to TAN if they have a debit balance. Ooh, that's good. Do not allow customers to make purchases if they have a debit balance. That's good. And then, of course, you can allow the override at point of sale if needed. So if it's someone that you actually know, you can go in there and allow the override option. Take EFT membership off a hold when balance is paid at point of sale. So if you run your EFTs for the first of the month and you have a client get rejected, their rejected amount goes on their EFT ledger, that they're negative. If they come into your salon, they can pay on that amount and their status can become active, because you have the option of setting it to be placed on hold if they get rejected. Therefore, they cannot TAN. But if they pay on their rejected EFT, they'll become active. And do not allow customer to pay on account for an EFT membership purchased at another location. The reason for this is if you had multiple stores and are franchised, and you allow pay on accounts, well, when the customer pays on your account, that actually does not get applied towards the EFT batch. It gets applied towards the daily transactions. So therefore, in order for the salon to get full credit for all the prepaids, you want to make sure that you do not allow your customers to make pay on accounts for other salons that are not owned by the same individual. Appointments. Are you to use the appointments? What is the appointment length in minutes? Now, of course, you want to take into the delay time and the clean time and the change time into consideration. So I'm going to say every 25 minutes. I'm going to start taking appointments at 10 o'clock in the morning, 10 a.m. Single booking per time slot, that just means that only one appointment can be made for 10 o'clock. The next one will be at 10:25. Multiple booking simply means that I can make an appointment for room 1 for 10, then I can make an appointment for room 3 at 10 o'clock as well. I want to reserve the appointments on TAN screen, so that way if you have a customer that wants to go into room 1 and there's someone that has an appointment for that room will be reserved. Bypass reservation without security. Well, I would not recommend checking that, because your employees will be allowed to override that, but you will be able to view in an audit log who actually overrode that reservation. Then you can set the no-show after so many hours. I'm going to select 1. And then save. Update current store. Okay. Page 5. Room availability screen. Limit equipment selection to 1 room availability. If you have this selected, that'll actually pull up only 1 room with the lowest equipment usage selected. I want the customers that have the option of going in any room, so I wanted to uncheck that option. I want to default the tanning minutes to the last visit minutes, so I get the customers that tanned yesterday, their tan time will be the same today. They can change it, but it's going to default to the same time. Display high intensity message. That is the message that was set to say how many hours are intense for the lamps. Approximate clean time is 5. So I have a 5-minute delay time and I have a 5-minute approximate clean time. That's 10 minutes. So you want to add 10 minutes onto every maximum time of the bed. That'll give you the wait time. For example, the open sun is 12 minutes. So if I want to go tanning in there for 12 minutes, the next customer that comes in is going to be given a 22-minute wait time for that bed. Because 5 minutes for delay, 5 minutes to clean, and 12 minutes to tan. Enable customer picture. That is if you have a webcam and you actually want to take pictures of customers as a form of identification. Employee/customer tanning. Employees may tan while clocked in for the first so many minutes of their shift. I'm going to say for the first 30 minutes of their shift they can tan. Customer PIN code must be entered to tan. I am not going to select that option. Allow tan time to change in tan line. Yes, I do want the tan time to change. Okay, e-links. Enable e-links for tasks and or e-link messages. Okay, and then you can warn the user that new e-links with high priority have came. So whenever you clock in, it will automatically open up your e-link inbox. Then it checks for your e-links every 15 minutes. Okay, right hand side, courtesy tans. I am going to allow courtesy tans. I already have a number of minutes for each courtesy tan for each bed. So I'm going to leave this at 0. I'm going to default this to 30 days. If they haven't used it in 30 days, it will get expired. And I'm not going to limit the courtesy tans to so many per so many days, as this is not per client, this is per salon. Point of sale. Only show expired packages and memberships that have expired within the past. Well, if it's been expired for over 30 days, it's not necessary for me to see it. If it's active, I want to see it. If it's not active, I don't want to see it. Only show so many days of sales and tanning history at point of sale. Well, I want to see the last 7 days, because I know that I can see all the days if I wanted to. But by default, I only want to say the last 7. Then only allow transactions to be recalled 15 minutes after being suspended. That means that after being suspended for 15 minutes, you can recall that customer and continue the transaction. But after 15 minutes, you gotta do the transaction over again. If you do not want to allow walk-in tans, you can check that option. So therefore, the customer will be forced to buy a single session visit or a single session. Auto combine like packages in the same sale. I like that. So if I buy 2 20-minute packages, it'll combine together for one 40-minute package. Lock POS cashier sessions after the computer's been idle for, I'm going to say 10 minutes. Because if my salon employees are alone and they walk away to clean some beds or do some laundry, I don't want the customer to come in and help themselves at the tanning beds, even if they've used something before at a prior salon. So I want to completely lock the cashiers out of the point of sale, so therefore they have to clock back in or log back in. If you're using Text Ripple, here's the information that you want to set up with your company ID, secret, and keyword, along with the options to enable the in and out integration. Save, update current store, page 6, almost done. Okay, pop-up message. How often do you want this pop-up message to appear? I'm going to say every 7 days. So that means every once a week I'm going to have this message come up. Maybe you want to say, ask for eyewear, because you definitely want them to be able to check for eyewear. If they don't have eyewear, they can't tan, so they must buy eyewear. So ask for eyewear. I want to use the document process because I want to store everything electronically. I don't want to leave any paper copies. You do have the option to print documents, but I want everything electronically. Now, in order to use documents in SunLync, you must have Microsoft Office installed. And please make sure this is not the Microsoft Office Starter Edition or Student Edition, as these do not have all the components necessary that SunLync needs to operate, with the merged fields and the actual signature pad, if you get one. I don't want to automatically print EFT documents. Instead, I want to automatically display them, because I'm keeping everything electronically. Therefore, I don't want to print it if I don't have to. Barcode scanning. This is really the type of barcode you have. If you want to be able to scan your customers from a barcode, you want to have this option selected. So therefore, you can either check the box or check the icon for the barcode for the customer or product. Inventory options. Use corporate as a warehouse for inventory. I'm going to uncheck that because I only have one store right now. So when I order inventory, I'm going to order it from Buffalo. Default all item quantities to 0 when receiving POs. That's really useful and that's really good because that'll force the user or the employee to actually count the quantity she received instead of just assuming what they received is correct. Scan number. Scan number can be changed, and it can be changed to ID number. Custom 1, Custom 2. These fields are customized fields that can be anything you want. Maybe you want their Twitter account. And maybe you want an alternate email. Keep history of changes for demographics and EFT information. These two are a must, because if anyone changes their address, you want to be able to see that. If anyone changes their billing information for their EFTs, you want to see that. Okay. Save error messages to database. Yes, that's a must. And then prompt to open up offline utility after 3 connection errors. So after getting about 3 connection errors, SunLync is going to say, hey, the connection is not that good, so would you want to run offline until the connection gets restored? At that point, you want to select yes to prevent any data loss. Again, if you're a franchise owner and you have multiple stores owned by other individuals, you can restrict the EFT membership changes to only the owner store. So if the customer bought a membership at your store is like the master store. They can only make changes in the master store. And then also that goes for billing changes as well. You can use the package or membership to determine the point redemption status. So therefore, if you want to have if you want your customers to only be able to redeem their points when they have a certain membership or package, you want to check this option here. Use upgrade pricing at point of sale. So if you want to be able to sell an upgrade to a customer, you can, or you can also tan them on an upgrade at that time instead of selling them the upgrade and then tan them later. Gift card scanning. Gift cards that are required to be swiped usually have a beginning and ending character. If you were to scan it in a notepad, you would see that the beginning character could be a semicolon or a % sign, and the ending character could be the same thing. Simply put in what those characters are. Enables driver's license scanning. This is if you have the 2D barcode scanner that you can actually read the information off the back of a driver's license on a customer insert. Once the customer has been inserted into the system, you will be able to pull them up from their license as well. Click Save. Current store. Regulations. Edit. The minimum age to tan. I'm going to say this is 18. Minimum age to tan for minors allowed to tan with parental consent. So the minimum age to tan is 18. But with parental consent, I'm going to do 16 to 17. Therefore, if you're 18 you can tan. That's the minimum age. But if you're a minor, you need a parental consent. And then I want to require a signed waiver for all customers, so they cannot tan unless they've signed a waiver. And it's for all customers. It doesn't expire. You can have it expire every year if you want to. And then you can also have it be signed at each store. Save. Current store. Default or regulations. Page 2. Edit. Hours between tans, 24. So that means that it's gotta be 24 hours before they can go tanning again. Hours of tans from start of previous. So that means that it doesn't take when you came into the salon. It actually takes it from when the customer started the tanning bed. You can do the minimum days between tans if you don't want the 24-hour rule, if you just want the 1-day rule. So if you tanned at 11 o'clock a.m. on Monday, you can come in on Tuesday and tan at 10:30 if you have 1 day. If you have 24 hours, you have to wait to 11 o'clock. Customers aged 18 or younger may only tan how many times in so many days? I'm going to say may only tan 5 times in 6 days. This is usually for UV tanning only. Okay. Use exposure schedule. I'm not going to use the exposure schedule, so I'm going to ignore that. After how many days or more of no UV tanning at all, are you allowed so many tans for so many days? For the first so many days of the customer under the age of blank. That is a long sentence right there. Please review that, and if you have any questions concerning that, please give SunLync support a call. If not, you can go ahead and skip that option. If anyone falls under these regulations, you allow the tan button override, but also you can stop the customer from tanning, or you can just warn the customer. I'm going to stop the customer from tanning. Now these next options are for the biometrics. Are you going to be using your biometrics for certain packages or memberships? Are you going to allow refusals? Are you going to allow the employees to use it when they clock in, when they sign in? Also, are you going to enable identification? So therefore, if the customer scans their fingerprint, will their account be pulled up in the SunLync? And that is a fingerprint scanner. There is a device from Digital Persona, the 4500, that will allow you to register your fingerprint in the SunLync and then pull your information up that way. Now, the information that's stored on the fingerprint is not readable by the human eye. So no one can get the fingerprint images out of the software. CC processing. Currently, we have the integration for PC Charge, Merchant Warehouse, and SlimCD. SlimCD is the processor I'm going to use. Now, they are one of many, of course, but they also provide tokenization. Tokenization is PCI compliant. That means tokenization means that simply the credit cards will be converted into a token, and no credit cards will be stored in your system. Therefore, it'll be one step towards becoming PCI compliance. I'm going to process credit cards through SunLync using SlimCD. Same thing, I'm going to bypass credit card functionality when I'm in history mode. I'm going to save payment as correct payment type, because I don't want to just see that I do use the charge card. If I swipe the credit card, if I swipe the Visa card, I want to see that it was a Visa. I want to enable refunds through SunLync using SlimCD. I want to prompt the employee as well. And I also want to enable voids through SunLync using SlimCD and prompt the employee as well. Duplicate transaction window. I'm going to put 1 minute. So therefore, if you do it within 1 minute, you can do a duplicate transaction. Save, current store only. Okay. Now, this has concluded the training on the parameters and the store settings. Please, if you have any questions, contact SunLync support at 1-866-786-5962. Thank you and have a great day.